And we are live here. Episode 1 of Stick to the Script. No template, no intro song. I'm sure that's going to come at some point. Kind of spontaneously starting this today. Dropped a teaser on social media. Has got like 2 likes and at least one comment from that. This show, I think, might take off. We'll see. I think if it doesn't, I'll just have fun bullshitting with some of my friends that come on here. Probably some stories, probably go deep at times, uncensored, different topics, talking life with different people. So, on the first episode here of Stick to the Script, I have my best friend, my brother, Anthony. Easy episode 1 to get rolling. Don't have to prep a lot to talk to this guy. I will start things off, though, and say Gianna, our sister, did say, and I quote, when I told her you were coming on, Anthony, eh, Anthony is not that interesting. Is there any response to that?
Um, you know, me and mine and Gianna's relationship. So what one day we're pretty cool. We could hang out, and then the next day we're just not friends. So must have been one of those not friends days for me and Gianna. But I'll take that from her because she knows out of me and her who's the more interesting one.
Yeah, I think your dynamic is interesting to say the least. Because I'll see you guys like chilling together, going to like a store on Snapchat, and then there'll be another time we're together, and out of nowhere, you guys are like swinging at each other, and she gets pretty pissed off at you sometimes. So
Yeah, like I said, it really depends. It depends on the mood she's in. Um, yeah, our sister Gianna, high school teenager. So those mood swings could be dangerous.
all right. Well, we got a couple different topics we're going to talk about today. No clear, set direction, but I know there's some good things we can talk about. Obviously, everybody just had Christmas or their holidays, whatever they celebrate. You were the host on Christmas Day. A lot of pressure to be a host and get everything lined up. Had our family also, your wife Maddie's parents over. What was your favorite gift of Christmas? Did something stand out from what you received?
Uh, you know, to be honest, I didn't really like anything I got this year.
That's
no,
fair. That's fair.
no. There's a good amount of stuff everybody got me. Maddie, of course, got me a lot of stuff that I wanted. I kind of just picked out myself. Um, she also got me a surprise keychain that I can't talk about right now, but uh, in the future we'll bring it up. And I also got a Sauce Gardner jersey, who's my boy on the Jets. So I was pretty excited about that. I'll have to be wearing that one next time we're watching some games. Don't know if I'll be able to watch it this year for playoffs, but maybe next year.
Yeah, well, at least you got week 17 to toss the jersey on. But he's playing against the Seahawks, and he's probably going to be locking on DK Metcalf. So I'm hoping he has a shit game this week, but we'll see because we got the fantasy playoffs. Um, I I got some cool stuff. Obviously, interesting Christmas this year, a little bit different than the last couple of years. Had a great time though with family and everything. I did. I got the PS5. I know. How long did you know I was getting the PS5?
I knew right away when they got it, but keep it a secret wasn't too hard.
Yeah.
Um, Besides the one day that you were like, I know they got me the PS5, and I was like, I don't know what you're talking about, and I think you kind of bought that they didn't give it to
Yeah.
you, but yeah, not a bad gift to get for Christmas, huh?
I do shit like that all the time. I try to play some mind games to just get people to crack, and that was definitely a test. And you didn't give it away. So yeah, I got it all set up. I will say that after getting the PS5, I don't know. I feel different. I feel different. Like just like my confidence is a bit different. I think I just like my demeanor is a little changed since I got the PS5. Like I feel like I'm that guy now. Before I, you know, had the PS4 and it was fine and stuff, but then I go to your place, you're playing the PS5, and I hear like uh our guy Nick Lopes mentioning shit with the PS5, or I forgot who else was talking, Martin maybe with the Xbox or something like that. But you know I think just this time of year when things might have not been, looking so great for me, I got a fucking PS5.
And yeah, I mean, I like you said, I've had it, so like I felt the strength that comes with it, you know,
Yeah.
and it just like looking down at those that don't have it or
Yeah.
like couldn't get one. Like if you couldn't, like you should do better, you know. But uh, yeah, I'm sure it feels nice, you know. I
Yeah.
mean, you got
Like,
feet for me too, so uh,
yeah.
that was
Yeah.
that was a good gift.
I'll never speak to Dominic again. But
There's no point.
no, I mean, it just is what it is. But you big thing big things happened to you this year, obviously. You got married. We went through the bachelor party process. It was cool to have Maddie's parents over for Christmas and hanging out and seeing the two families intermix, because you guys have done that before, but maybe not in the sense of like spending a few hours and playing games and stuff. But we got a flashback. We got to talk about the bachelor party. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about Maddie a little bit. Let's talk about the wedding. So let's talk about the bachelor party. So went to Milwaukee after Rosemont. Um, I thought it was a pretty good trip in general. I know that there was some drama from time to time at the bachelor party. I think I was like out of the drama for once. I don't think I had any drama personally, which is like very not normal of Nick. But there was some other things. You look across the street and there's like couples like walking and like talking to each other and stuff. But overall, it was good. Overall, it was good. What if you had to think, we can maybe go back and forth here. What's a memory from that bachelor trip, Rosemont or Milwaukee, that stands out to you?
Well, Rosemont was fun, you know, the party bus and everything. But I think Milwaukee kind of brought it to a different level for everybody. Um, I mean, it all kind of started like the bar happened, whatever. Everybody's meeting up. We're drinking Bloody Marys, and then I think what kind of like highlighted things to start for me was like killing some time going to the Powhatan Casino, and I got kind of lucky. I hit the hit the jackpot, won $11,000. Called you on the phone. I'm like, get over here. Like I just hit, and you told me no because you were playing. And then when you walk over, you were like, holy shit, you hit that? And I'm like, yeah, and I'm freaking out. They're paying me in cash. I don't have a safe in the hotel, so I'm just walking around with $11,000 in Milwaukee. Probably wasn't the smartest idea since we were drinking a little bit, but yeah, that was one of the early highlights. And then
Well, with that one though, I do want to say, like, yeah, this guy calls me up and he's like, "Come over here right now," and I got $20 in the slot machine. I'm down to like 1740, just started, and he's like, "Come over here," and I'm like, "No, I'm playing too." And when I get over there, here's Anthony just staring at the thing, biting his nails, just looking around, and I look and I see the jackpot, and I'm like, "Holy shit!" So we had to like wait a long time, and it was cool when they actually did come. They had to like replay and show how he actually did win it. But the one girl's like, stick your hand out, and they're just like throwing stacks, and we're all like sitting there with our fucking phones and like videotaping it. And I'm like, of course, Anthony, of course, Anthony. But if it had to happen to somebody, it was the Bachelor.
yeah, that was pretty crazy. And I know everybody's like they want to buy the Bachelor drinks, and then I think that might have been a little turning point because they're like, no, you should buy us drinks now.
Speaking of that, speaking of buying drinks, there was one point where we were at a bar, like a dive bar, and I wanted to order everybody a shot of tequila. And the one bartender, she's like, "What kind of tequila do you want?" And I'm like, "House." And she's like, "Why would you want to do that? Why would you want to do that to everybody?" Because I'm like, I don't want to fucking pay full price for Don Julio or some other bullshit. And then uh Dominic didn't want to take our brother didn't want to take a shot. And what did she say? Do you remember?
she she said I can't remember word for word, but it was along the lines of like, I knew you were a pussy or
Yeah,
something.
or something like, well, do you have sand in your pussy or something
Oh
like that? And of course, all the guys are like, oh,
yeah,
oh.
like it was funny for everybody but Dominic.
Yeah.
He actually was a little offended by that. But
Yeah.
yeah, that was a good part too. And then all of a sudden we end up in another bar and everybody's doing the the
Oh,
boxing. And,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
yeah, that one tested a couple people's strengths. I don't think you did too well, but
No, no, I know, like Martin, like that piece was important for him. Like he needed to set the tone because Martin's he's a big dude. He's ex um bodybuilder, we'll say, but he big dude, and he established his dominance there.
yeah, yeah. And then of course, like we had the guys and girls separate, for the one day. The girls went, they did whatever they did. The guys, we did what we did, which was have a good time, And one part that I think I'll always remember is like guys did whatever we did, And afterwards, like we were all like, all right, we're not going to say too much, but you just kept going. I'm announcing it to everybody what we did and what happened. And I think a few of the guys in the group got a little bit nervous.
Yeah.
Couple guys in particularly were real nervous. And I think to this day, I'm still a little bit nervous anytime it's brought up, but we ain't going to go into too much detail
I
about that.
I almost, yeah, I won't go into details either. And there was just, I mean, maybe it's nothing big, maybe it's specific to certain people, but I do recall telling a guy that I was gonna I was gonna drop the what happened on the bachelor party. He ended up telling his wife at my house when we were all there. That caused a big issue. Um, I also, said that I was gonna at the bar go on the microphone at the club we were at and ask the DJ if I can spill an announcement. And these guys were all like, no, 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 like stop messing around. And I also said on your wedding day that I was gonna say some shit about some people about the bachelor trip, but I decided not to. I decided not to. Um, another good piece. Speaking of the girls and guys being separated, I do remember some of the girls meeting up with us at the bar, and I turn into like typical like Nick has like one sip of alcohol and thinks I'm like 6'4", 225. I had like these guys come up and like just like try to talk to them. And I think the one girl I like went up to the two guys and I'm like, hey, like something along the lines of like, I'm her fucking boyfriend or something like that. Like, get the fuck out of here and try to be that guy. But it hasn't caught up to me yet that someone just looks at me and just like beats my ass. But I did that at the bar.
Yeah, I mean, they did just walk away. Not much was said from there, so I know you felt pretty good about that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I definitely recall that as well. And then, yeah, leading up to the wedding, you kept saying you're gonna do it in the best man speech, and I think a lot of people were getting mad at you for that, including our parents. But yeah, speech was good, so didn't have too much to worry about.
yeah. Dad did tell me like not to say certain things. I had some things planned out in a speech, and he's like, do not say that. Like he was getting pissed off about it, and so was mom. And the best thing for me at that time was like, I'm doing it. I'm doing it, even if I wasn't going to do it.
Yeah.
We did have our buddy Tane cause a motorcycle accident.
Oh
We,
man.
we, we were all there was these guys, these bikers revving their engines, and we all are kind of tipsy, and we're like pumping the fists, and we're saying like, we're like just egging them on, and Tane has got dreadlocks and he starts like doing this like head bob thing, egging them on. So that really got these guys fucking going. And they took off, and the one guy, they're doing wheelies and shit, and the one guy just like completely lost control, flew off the motorcycle. Tane runs in the street, and we're all just like, oh no. But he caused that accident. Yeah, he did.
100%. I was like, we gotta go, because they're gonna say it's your fault.
I think it is his fault. I think it was his fault because we were all egging them on, but as soon as you start doing that shit with the dreadlocks, like, come on.
Yeah, yeah, it was over from there for those guys. But yeah, overall, definitely a good bachelor weekend, something to remember. And yeah, it was something that kind of carried into the wedding, which for some people was good and for some it wasn't, so
Yeah, we do have to talk about that. I will finish off the bachelor party by saying and confirming, just in case anybody from it listens to this, that the guys did have more fun than the girls, and I don't care what anybody says about that.
yeah,
But yeah, we did for sure.
I would agree with that for sure,
But the wedding, obviously, briefly, tell the story before we talk about your wedding, about the day that I met Maddie, unless you want me to tell what do you
I
want to do?
I think you do a better job
All
of
right.
because I think I had some stuff going on maybe that I couldn't really tell the story exactly how it went.
Yeah, so we went to this party at his school, St. Francis. Um, it was a banger. Like I would give him shit before and be like, these parties are kind of lame or something like that. But this was a good party. We had some friends there that were didn't go to St. Francis. I think Dominic went. I think like Bakuza went, and I was trying to get some other people to go that didn't work out. But it was a good party. It was lit. They had a DJ, everything. We're having a good time. And Anthony's like, I want to introduce you to this girl I've been talking to. And I was like, oh, that's interesting, because Anthony's not the type of person in the past to just like introduce you to like a bunch of random girls. Like maybe he talked to a bunch of girls, maybe he didn't. I'm not gonna get into that, but he wouldn't introduce you to them. I was the opposite back then. I would meet somebody for 5 minutes and be like, this is my
Yeah,
new girl.
come be
You
my
know, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I would tell mom like they're just my friends. They're just my friends. But I would introduce everybody. So it was a big thing that Anthony was introducing somebody. So um, he tells me this, and then right away he's like, "Oh, there she is, right there." So I look, blonde girl, black dress. He goes, grabs her hand. She turns around, and he looks at me and he goes, "That's not her." And I go, "Oh." And the girl didn't even say anything. I think it was like robotic. She didn't say anything. She just like kept going. And then going up the stairs, there she was, I think. Blonde girl, black dress. Anthony's like, "No, that's her right there. That's her right there." Goes up the stairs, grabs the girl. She turns around. He's looking at her. He looks at me, still holding her hand, and he goes, "That's not her either." So I'm like, what? Two girls, two blonde girls in a black dress. The third one was definitely Maddie. That was the first time I met her, was at a St. Francis party. The third blonde chick with a black dress whose hand he grabbed and introduced was actually Maddie.
Yeah, that one, it was a little bit messy. A lot of girls wanted to be the same height and wear the same kind of clothing that night, I guess. And what was weird to me is that second girl, I still remember, is I like grabbed her hand and I think she like walked with me and like no questions asked. And I turned and looked at her, and that's when I was like, I let go, and I'm like, nope, that's not her. But she was 4, I guess, coming with me, I guess, to and meet some people. I don't know, but it was one of those things, and yeah, it was a good first impression for
Yeah,
Matt.
definitely. It feels like that was forever ago, but I don't know. Who knows? Maybe that other girl could have became friends with us or something that night too, because it seemed like she was cool about that. But the wedding. So we talked about the bachelor party and the wedding in general. In my opinion, everything went super smooth. Um, we had you had a good group on both sides, standing up. You had a lot of people there. The venue was awesome. Talk about the wedding, because your wedding, like mine back in the day, I thought was like super lit. Everybody was on the dance floor, just flashing back to old times. And then yours though was pretty fucking lit.
Yeah, I mean, so many different emotions, throughout that day. I mean, you were with me, you saw the progression, but like it all started with, I mean, we all met at the house, we're all just having a couple drinks before the church and stuff, whatever. Photographer comes and wasn't probably the best fit for our group.
No, no, no.
But yeah.
She was scared of the dog. You remember that? She was like making this huge deal about one of the dogs. Was it at mom's house? Like she didn't she like stand on a chair or something like
Yeah,
dramatic as fuck?
the smallest dog that my mom owns, she stood on a chair. She said that's the reason she was late, is because she wanted the dogs put away, even though she was just late in general.
Yeah.
But showed up, we're doing our thing, and she's just capturing some moments. But then, like, she goes outside, and I still remember she's like, look at each other and fake laugh, and that kind of pissed everybody off because we're like, no, we're not doing that. That's not what we do. But yeah, it was all good. And then like it came to the point where like we had to go to the church, and I get a call 5 minutes before the limo is supposed to be there saying, "Hey, it's not coming. They're still over an hour away." And this is at 1:30. I don't know. We had to be at the church at 2. They're like over an hour away. So I got a hold of the limo service. Lost my mind a little bit. You were there, you were there for that.
A little bit's being nice for the show. This guy was like, I'm not blaming you, but this is, and then he like start like throwing a couple F bombs and saying like different things, and
Yeah,
it was bad. It was bad.
not prom. Like I was going all over the place, but got a full refund, so that's fine. We got ourselves there. It was all good. But yeah, went from being extremely pissed to going to church. Maddie walks down the aisle. You're happy, you're nervous, all that stuff, and then like obviously we go take more pictures, and then comes a reception, and lot of mixed feelings at the reception. Great turnout. DJ was great. I thought food was
Yeah.
good, drinks were drinks were flowing. But yeah, me personally, I might have had too much fun a little bit too early into the night. But
Yeah. I will say, um, and there was a cool video of you like coming out from upstairs and like everybody's looking at you like yelling or whatever and stuff, and you're kind of like looking like the hype man. The dance floor was like extremely lit the entire night. Like that's what I love about weddings. I guess it has to do with your group sometimes, and some people don't like to be on the dance floor the whole time, but usually our family, a lot of our friends, you and I, like we like to be out there, and it was like a club. Like literally, we had like
the
young
six,
kids to like our Uncle Sal, who's like 85, like dancing to Mo Bamba and shit. It was great.
yeah, that's one thing. I mean, me and you were on the same page about, but like a lot of weddings you go to, they're not gonna play all the songs that they might really want to play. And I made it very clear to my DJ, just like you did, like these are the songs I want played, and you're gonna play them, and it's just how it's gonna be. And he went along with it. He was playing Mo Bamba, everything from Mo Bamba, Mr. Brightside. He was playing like "Look Alive" by Drake. He was playing
Yep.
everything. Way too sexy. That's the one I was on the top of the stairs, kind of dancing to,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that might have been my last dance of the night, but it was a good time.
Yeah. So what happened was at one point Anthony's drinking. What were you drinking, Jack?
Yeah, Jack and Coke.
Jack and Coke. So he's going to the bar, right? At one point, and I'm drinking a lot too. Like I'm getting, slammed, because as soon as my best man speech was over, which I thought was like pretty solid, probably like a 9.5 out of 10. As soon as that was over, I was like, I'm drinking. But Anthony was drinking the hard stuff the whole time. And he started swaying a little bit going up to the bar. So I distinctly remember stopping him and saying, "Hey, switch to beer, man." Obviously, because you're drinking hard stuff the whole time. And he looks me dead in my eye and he says, "I'm not a bitch. I'm not a bitch." That was what he said. But what ended up happening, Anthony?
I was kind of a bitch after that because yeah, I just remember going up the stairs and waking up the next morning. But what I do find funny, I mean, there's a lot of different parts of that story that like still to this day you're getting different pieces from different people. Like, oh, I was there, I helped you do this, oh, I helped this, like I walked you up the stairs when you we were carrying down the stairs, you were laughing. And I'm like, oh yeah. But yeah, that me saying I'm not a bitch thing to you, I think that's pretty trademark.
Yeah.
That's a good line right there. At the time, and only if I stuck it out and like wasn't a bitch, that would have been really cool. But
Yeah,
I
so
was.
he was sick. He was upstairs. He was puking up some of that Jack. He was like leaning over a couch. I remember going up the stairs, and I'm just like, oh, and he's like slouched over, and I'm pretty sure Dad at one point just like looks at me and he just like kind of shaking his head, just like, it is what it is. And Mom, Maddie was trying to go up his wife and take care of him. She was trying to do that because obviously that's her priority, and she's that type of person, anyways. But then we got her to go down. Mom and Dad took care of you and stuff. But you were definitely out for the count for a little bit there. I wouldn't say it was like a huge chunk of the night or anything. It was
Yeah,
on the end.
last a little hour and a half. But the thing was, I don't think a lot of people know this. I don't even know if I've told you this, but me and Maddie were supposed to have like a last dance where we clear out everybody, and it was just me and her.
Yeah.
Close out the night together, and yeah, obviously that didn't happen. So she was a little pissed at me, rightfully so, but at the same time, like you just said, she went down there, she continued to have fun, and I thought, if I could change things about me getting as lit as I was, I would. But I think overall, everybody had a good time, and it was a good wedding overall.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people got pretty lit too. I know, um, like our one buddy, like made it to dinner, and then he looked at me. I saw him in the lobby, and he said, I gotta go at dinner." So he asked me when Anthony was sending the thank you cards. I said you had to be at the wedding for 51% of it to get one. So I mean, we had a lot of people there that were getting lit. The groomsmen. I don't know who suggested it, but we took off all of our like shirts and only wore the vests so that we had like muscle shirts on. I don't know who would say something like that. It's kind of corny, whoever idea that was. One guy's wife didn't really like it, I don't think too much, but it was what it was. But yeah, it was great. It was good. Everything you probably expected, I would say.
Yeah, yeah. And speaking of the groomsmen, like their entrances,
Oh
and
yeah.
they did a great job. Some of them went a little crazy, but you know what? I thought overall, like, I can't wait for the video to come in of everything because I feel like it's gonna be awesome. So, yeah, definitely a good wedding. Definitely one to remember, and can't wait for that video to come in.
Yeah, one guy was in a dress. He didn't want to do it. He switched with the bridesmaid. He didn't really want to do it. He came down. I think his parents were there, so I think that had to do with why he didn't want to do it. Another guy wore a boxing outfit that said 1-0 because he did punch somebody from my bachelor party on a bus. That was something that happened. There was another guy. They did the white chicks dance, and he got flipped. I didn't think it was gonna work. He did the flip. That was good. There were some good walkouts, at the end of the time, end of the day. But good wedding in general. Me and you. So just going off to something else here. Me and you talk probably every day on the phone, um, which we normally do anyways. But I know I've been kind of going through some shit, and I appreciate having somebody to talk to at times, and vent about stuff. But we got a lot of similar ways of thinking, I feel like, and kind of characteristics. The first one being like overly competitive. I think we both have that in common, especially like this time of year with fantasy football. Like this guy, he texted me today earlier and said, why am I in 3 championships and 2 of them are in leagues you're in? And I didn't respond right away because I didn't want to say shit to him about it. And like I've been in a league with him as well for fantasy where on Father's Day, I sent them all like a message saying that I was their father and that I, respect all of them as my children. But we do have that in common with not just fantasy, but with a lot of things.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. We're pretty competitive in all aspects of life, I would say. You see it in our careers, you see it in with our family, you see it in everything. So, I agree with that. And yeah, like the football stuff, it is 3 leagues that I'm in with you that I'm in the championship. I just miscounted, so sorry about that. You are in one that I'm in, so good job, you know.
I'm in 3 as well, just only one with you.
Yeah, because when I'm in the league with you, you don't do as well. But we don't need to talk about that. But yeah, competitiveness. I mean, you've seen it. You got a Christmas present out of it. I I had FIFA and I got my ass kicked one game, and I literally calmly. I was flipping out the whole time. I calmly got up, ejected the disc, took it out, put it in the case, and I threw it to Maddie. I said, "Wrap it for Christmas. I'll never play it again." So uh, I guess might have took it too far. There's pros and cons to being as competitive as we are sometimes.
Yeah. I think that's what kind of has pushed us and pushed us in certain things. Like you mentioned jobs before, like push us with jobs or, with side jobs or, sports, obviously in the past and things like that. So it's been a benefit, probably annoyed a lot of people too. I know even like yesterday, like both of us were yelling at the TV, and I think some people think we're kidding, but we probably weren't. We might have exaggerated it a little bit. Another thing that I feel like we both have in common is people have noted in the past like that we can be salty about stuff. And I want to bring that up because I think we both have that in common. And many people have noted this. I think that both of us can be salty about stuff. For me, for me though, I think it's always been about like expectations for other people being maybe too high just based off of like, you know, feeling you want things reciprocated back to you. So like I know I treat people a certain way. I know I'm willing to do things for people. I know I act a certain way. So when somebody doesn't reciprocate that, me personally, I get salty about it. And kind of I'm not gonna say always hold grudges, but maybe it bothers me more than it does the average person just because again, like I know how I could be with certain things and when it's not reciprocated, it's kind of like, I do get salty. I do. But I feel like you're the same way with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things, like you said, where it's like it's the expectation you have for people, and I feel like sometimes it might be a little too high. You might expect too much out of people, but at the end of the day, I think that we're on the same page about there's like right and wrongs, and there's ways to do things and ways to not do things.
Yeah.
For me, I hold that same expectation for myself. If one of my best friend's birthday is that day, I text him happy birthday. It's just little things like that. It's like the right thing to do, and I don't feel like it always happens. And I'm not saying I don't make mistakes too, because
Mhm.
we both do.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody has their days, but it's just like you just have that expectation for people. I have it for my relationship. I have it for myself, for my job. It's just there's expectations in the world, right? So like, not saying everybody needs to meet my expectations all the time to be my friend or to hang out with me, anything, But it's more so for me. I think just like looking for people to do the right thing,
Yeah.
and I think that you're on the same page with that. I
Yeah.
mean, you're going through some stuff right now, and you can tell who's doing the right thing, right, and who's not doing the right thing, and it's noticeable, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that stuff for me, I like take mental notes all the time. That's probably like my biggest like flaw is I'm always like taking mental notes on things, and it might not seem like a big deal to some people, like, oh, why are you mad about this? And
Mhm.
it's not that one little action. It's like an accumulation of things over time, I would say, where it's like, okay, I've taken a lot of mental notes on things and now I'm done with it.
Yeah.
So they view me as being a dick or being salty and stuff, but after so long you can only take so much. So I mean, you've noticed with me too, I might not be talking to the most people right now and stuff. Maybe it's just a phase I'm going through. I don't know,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's just one of those things. And like you said, being salty and stuff, it kind of, I guess, factors into that. So
And I know, I feel like we have a lot of acquaintances and a lot of people that, we see him out, we'll talk to him and stuff, but I feel like we've also grown to a degree and it's not like it doesn't have to be it's nothing about like it's not an arrogance thing or it's not like a too cool thing. It's not a um I'm better than this. Nothing like that at all. Like zero with that. But I feel like over time our circles have gotten a little bit smaller. But I think that's just been kind of it's kind of had to do with the way that we kind of view certain things and have grown over time. Like for instance, like I can think of my situation right now that I'm working through, and I'll mention his name, but like a guy like Martin to me, friend of ours, he's been like there for me nonstop. Do you need help moving something? Do you want to go get a drink? Come by my place. What do you need help with? Do you want to talk? Like, a guy like that. And I've had guys like my buddy Colin, like reaching out to me and I've had to blow him off a couple times, which I felt like shit about, but hey man, like let's get together, man. Let's get together. Let's talk. Let's catch up. That's been something. And, my guy Tane did the same thing, but, you kind of realize through different things in life, like, I don't know who's your good friend, who's your friend, and who's just, your acquaintance. And again, I think it just has to do with situations that happen, how people respond, how people act and stuff. And I don't mind having a smaller circle at the end of the day. I could be better as a friend. I think I think that's a flaw of mine. I need to do better reaching out to the people that are in my small circle. But I don't mind having something like that, and living by that, because I rather pay more time and attention to the people that provide me more value than just try to be, buddies with everybody and everything's cool and let's all hang out with everybody in the world.
Yeah, because that's how you differentiate like who's your real friends and stuff at the end of the day. Because, like I say, I talked to you about this recently, but like I've got two guys that I consider two of my best friends, and it doesn't matter what day of the week it is, even if it's on a random Tuesday night, they'll just call me just to talk and BS about things, and I'll do the same for them. I call them, we go back and forth, and I think that's how, for something like that, something small, just checking in on each other, seeing what's up. Like, I
Yeah.
think it goes a long way, and that shows me like those are good guys. Those are who I want to be around. Those are my friends. And then, like you said, stuff like that, you pick up on things, like
Yeah.
you guys that are all checking in on you, like those are those mental notes that you take, and you're like, I'll remember this. And
Yes.
I think especially like in your situation, like the people who show up for you when you're down and the people who show up for you when you need them to are the people that you want to keep around. So
Yeah.
I think that, like, I don't see eye to eye with everybody, but like you got to respect the guys that are doing that. Like, I respect all those guys that are reaching out to you, all those guys that are looking out for you and doing everything like that. That's like respect that I gain for people. So, like I said, with the expectation thing, like I would expect your good friends to do that. And I'm
Yeah.
glad these guys are doing it. So, um, it's good to see. Obviously, everybody goes through things. Me and you could be salty all the time. We
Yeah.
could be none of the time. It really depends on the day of the week. But the good friends stick around. The good friends pick you up when you're down, and the good friends are noticeable, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree completely. And I will always remember during this time, which has been a downtime, like the guys that were there for me, because, I when you need people, you probably don't always need people to the extent that you do when you're at a lower point. Like, I don't need somebody, in, 7 months from now when everything is peachy. But if people are there or absent when, like, I'm at that point, maybe I'll never be at that point again. I'll say I never will be. Actually, I'll come out and say that I'll never be at that low point again. So I'll remember who was there when I was there, because I won't be there again. I won't be there again. I do want to mention too and give them a shout out, because um, you mentioned two guys that you said you consider, your good friends that call you and everything. I think one of them's Colton, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to give him a shout out for, again, just being a good son and taking that L this week in the BMF league, because I think it's happened back to back seasons. And for him to stick around like that after taking losses like that in fantasy and still be a friend, I think that says a lot about the man he's transitioned into. So I did want to shout that out.
Yeah, this I will say this is the loudest I've heard Colton in a long time with fantasy things.
Very, very.
Very loud, very, very, very. I'm gonna be in the championship. I'm gonna win the league this year, and
Thanks
yeah,
for the trades, Nick. Like, thanks for all the gifts this year, Nick.
yeah. And then every time I'm trying to make a trade, he says some stupid, stupid comment in the chat.
Yeah.
But you know what? At the end of the day, I had an option. I said I could trade away Colton's first round pick, or I could trade away Nick's first round pick. And I traded away Nick's first round pick, and I'm so happy he lost.
Yes. Yes. So 2023 on the horizon. Uh, New Year's Eve. I think you guys are hosting or might be hosting. I know historically I can't even say it. New Year's Eve historically for our parties back in the day were always good. I have a lot of good memories. This podcast will not talk about any of those. We'll save that for another time. A lot of good stuff though back in the 2303 garage party days. But Anything stand out? 2023. Any goals of yours? This will be like the last thing we touch on before we close this up.
Yeah, I mean, 2023, it's going to be hard to beat 2022. There's a lot of good things that happen for me personally. You know, I think a lot of job growth happened. I think that like I got married. We got a new dog. We got more stuff for the house that we got. We continue to build. So like 2023 is like another year of like hopefully growth in a lot of different aspects in our life.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully more growth in the workforce, more growth with the house, the family, everything. So hopefully good period of growth for everybody, while maintaining consistency, because I think that a lot of people, and I know me and you are like this, but like I struggle with complacency where I always want to be doing more, and like achieving more. But sometimes you got to take a step back and like look at the consistent parts of your life and like be grateful for that too. And like Maddie, super consistent part of my life, my family is a super consistent part of my life. So I want to maintain that consistency, going into 2023 and just like continue to push myself in my job, my career, my family, everything. Just continue to grow, continue to build, and hopefully a lot of good things come out of 2023. What about you?
I want to touch real quick though on the consistency thing. I think it's common for people to lose that consistency the more life gets complicated and the more that things change and grow in your life. 7 years how life was and what the demands were for you or for me are very, very different than they are right now. So I think for a lot of people, being consistent in their relationships and with their family and with work and themselves and confidence, you can say a lot of things. I think people lose that consistency too often just because life gets more complicated. So I feel like that's a slept on thing to say, is to just be consistent in 2023 with what you want to do.
Yeah, and I mean, we've seen it. I mean, it's very easy for somebody to get just lost, and I think that it's very easy for somebody to like kind of not realize what they have and that consistency in your life, and like they
Yeah.
take that for granted. So like I don't know. For me, it's just I want to be consistent for my family, be there for them. I want to be consistent for Maddie, be there for her, be consistent for my job, It's like
Yeah.
obviously everybody wants to do more. Everybody's got dreams and goals, but like being consistent for the people you need to be consistent for goes a long way.
Yeah, for sure. 2023, uh, I'm going to try to get to 6'3". I'm going to see if I can get there.
6-3 fantasy football record.
No, 6 foot 3 inches. I'm going to see if I can grow into that. I haven't grown in a while, so I'm going to see if that can be something that can change this coming season, 2023 season. Probably have like a moving situation and have to work through that. Um, Leveling up, I think it's just going to be about leveling up for me, physically, mentally, financially. It's just going to be like total upgrade season. Like just focus on that. I think there's like so many other things I could focus on. The number one thing that I'll focus on, though, will just be Mila, my daughter. So, being a good dad and just growing as a dad, I think, is extremely important to me. And, every day it's still like a learning phase of learning what works, what doesn't work, what she likes, what she doesn't like, what she responds to, this and that. I think, you know, situations might get more complicated and when it comes to her, but I think just being consistent, like you said, and prioritizing her is going to be huge for me in 2023. So when I say, me personally, I'm going to upgrade a bunch of stuff, that's for sure going to happen. I think about fantasy football and growing more in that space, shit like that, but Mila will be the number one. And it is. And I've said it before. At the end of the day, a lot of shit can be said about me. Um, Accurate, not accurate, off the wall, whatever. But nobody is gonna ever say that I'm not a good father. And I think the people that know me well enough can agree to that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, should go without being said, I
Yeah.
mean, I mean the majority of people from an outside perspective think that, right? And I'm from the inside perspective and I see
Yeah.
that. So, and I see a different version of that than the outside perspective sees
Yes.
it. So
Yeah.
like That's the thing that I think is also slept on is like it's very easy for somebody to look from the outside and have like preconceived notions on things.
Yeah.
And when you're actually on the inside seeing day-to-day stuff, it's a lot different. And not that I'm saying anybody says you're a bad father, because I've never heard that, but I'm just saying,
One guy did.
oh
Yeah. On
yeah,
Twitter, on Twitter.
he shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, I blocked him. But go ahead.
Yeah, no, but yeah, it's just day to day you see it. It's you're a good dad, and she could be a lot to deal with, and
Yeah.
you do a good job of dealing with her. So
You guys have built a pretty good relationship too. I mean, I said uncle the one day and she did the finger point thing. She I think she's warmed up like so much to you and Maddie and like her interactions with you.
as long as she's in a good mood.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
sometimes, like the other day when she wouldn't look at me, or when she
Oh, yeah.
woke up when she woke up from the nap and just didn't want anything to do with anybody. Yeah, but once she's up and alert and comfortable, yeah, she's a lot of fun to be around.
Yeah, most definitely. She's extremely happy sometimes or extremely pissed off sometimes. But I mean, she might have gotten that from me. I don't know. Maybe it has been me. But we'll close things up there. Stick to the script. I said the wrong phrase on this Apple podcast that I was like setting up and had a contact support, but I think I got it. Stick to the script. Gonna have different people on talking about different topics. I'm sure Anthony will be on some more as well. Anthony, any words of wisdom, quotes, anything you want to close out the show with for the people listening heading into the new year? Anything?
I mean, I guess I'll go off of what we kind of touched on last. I mean, consistency slept on, and be consistent with everything that you do. Be a consistent friend, consistent family member, consistent husband, wife, whatever you can. Be consistent, and it'll go a long way.
Yes, sir. All right. Thank you guys for listening. Hopefully, you guys have a great rest of your week. Not sure if there's going to be another episode or not before the new year. So if not, let's get it in 2023 and move forward. Thanks, guys.